So this month's challenge is Stamp a Stack, and I am going to come in with the textured stripes mix and match cards and envelopes, and I'm just going to use the ones that are the real red, and I will set aside the Misty Moonlight for another time. It comes with 10 red envelopes and cards, as well as 10 of the Misty Moonlight. And can you see the stripes that are in them? I think they're absolutely adorable. And so I'm going to set the envelopes aside and come in with the cards. And this month's challenge is called Stamp a Stack, and we're just supposed to make 10 really fast cards. And I thought, what would be faster than to bring in the cards that we have in our card packs that are already done and have a background design to them? Because if you start with that, then that's like already putting in some stamping or some designer series paper. It's already into the background of the card. And so I thought that would make it super fast. Now, the one thing that absolutely surprised me when I got these cards, and I don't know why, but I just didn't realize, they are not a true A2. They are not 5.5 by 4.25. These are 4.25 by 6.25. So that may or may not matter to you when you're trying to design things, but I just want you to know that they are not a true A2 card. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my To The Point label punch, and I'm going to punch out some garden green cardstock, and this is the solid cardstock, and I'm just going to punch out 10 of these.
So I usually make about 200 Christmas cards. This is a great start on how I can get to making a whole bunch of cards for Christmas.
I will be cutting these in half. Next, I'm going to bring in some designer series paper from the North Pole Delivery 12 by 12. And I love this. I was actually saving some of these pieces for something, but I don't think I need the bears necessarily. If I can save one of the bears, I will, but I think I have some on some ephemera, so I think I'll be all right. So I'm going to punch these out as well. And I want my dots to go across, and I want 10 of these. Oh, you know what? I might actually want my dots to go this way.
I'm curious, do you make your Christmas cards? How many do you make? And it's pretty expensive to mail them out. The postage is like the big thing. And I will say, about half of my cards usually go in mailboxes either at church or at school. I'm a teacher, and so a lot of them I don't actually have to pay postage for. So I think I mail around 100 each year. I've actually become a little disgruntled because the post office seems to return things that have proper addresses, but it's just part of the game, I guess. How many do you make though?
I'm going to use these to stamp out my sentiment, and that's what the whole Stamp a Stack is about, is just stamping these really fast. And so I've brought in the Jolly Delivery, and I'm going to make it say, "Sending Merry Tidings from the North Pole." And I don't have the right sayings on my book. Good thing I read that. Nope. I might have to actually cut this. Yes, I do. Sending Merry Tidings. Or do I want sending? Sending Merry Tidings from the North Pole. So this is going to be 3 lines. Good thing I read that, huh? And I need a different look. And let's do a practice stamp. Mary Tidings looks like it's going downhill just a tad bit. I think the Mary needs to come down a little. That looks better. Okay. So this one will be my practice because the dots are going the other way. And you can see why they call this Stamp-a-Stack, because you just go through and stamp, stamp, stamp. And I should have one or two extras. I always like to do extras in case I don't have a good impression on one of them. Set those aside and keep on going.
If you want to see some more fun Christmas cards, make sure you check out the other girls in the Inspiration Collaboration design team for what they've posted this month. I'll leave a playlist at the end of this video. And also, I'm in a handmade hop collective this month. Every Tuesday and Friday, people post videos. I'll leave that link in the description below as well.
And then I'm going to cut this green one in half for each of these. And this is a fun little technique because we're just going to adhere this to the back, and it kind of gives it a frame, and it looks as if it extends it. It looks as if I have a bigger one than I really do behind it, but I really have one the same size. And I just make it extend the sentiment. So I will do all of these super fast.
So the one thing that I will not stop talking about this month is the awesome Join special. So we have two choices. The traditional sign up to be a demonstrator for Stampin' Up! Is $99. And you normally get $125 worth of product, free shipping on all of that product, and you get like an old paper pumpkin kit that they send to you, and they're all adorable. So you don't get to pick your paper pumpkin kit, but they usually throw one of those in the box too. Right now, you can get all of that for just $35. That is insane. You get to pick out $125 worth of product and don't pay shipping on it. If nothing else, this is a great way to get a bunch of product and make some darling Christmas cards like these right here. If you want to pay full price, if you want to pay the $99, instead of $125 worth of product, you get $189 worth of product and free shipping on all of that product. Add that up, that's like over $22 worth of shipping that you save. And you get one of those paper pumpkin kits thrown in your box too. And these paper pumpkin kits are adorable. So if you are interested, make sure you let me know. And I will leave the link so you know where to join in the comments below. If you join my team, you will be part of the Crafty Croppers, and you will be part of my uplines teams as well. So you would be part of Kelly Baxter Fitzgerald's Snapshots team, and she absolutely rocks. There are great incentives that she offers that we can offer to our customers when they place orders. So if you are interested in being part of my group and her group, And then, not only that, you would also be on Naomi Smith's Connected Hearts team. And she's an absolute rock star. Since we have joined Stampin' Up, her team has sold like $4.5 million worth of products. It's insane. And these ladies that are above me give such great trainings, and we just had a great retreat weekend in St. Louis. So much that is offered on these teams.
Okay, so I have my stack there. Let's turn this over. I have a clean sheet. And I'm going to bring in my strips of paper from the North Pole delivery. And all of these are a little different. And I want to put this scene across the bottom of the little town somehow. Like I could do it like this, but I want the little town, and it's going to look a little different on each one. So I think I want this one where this ends here, all the way across to, well, it's hard to decide where you want it to cut off. That's the problem. Try to make it end with a building is what I'm going to try to do with most of these. And then if it cuts a tree in half, I don't feel like that's as bad as cutting a store in half. And I left just a little titch of red at the bottom. And I'm going to do that for 10 of these. This one actually has a break between buildings, but I'm still not able to get a whole building on. I think I want to end right here with this building.
I like that the little scene at the bottom of these cards are a little bit different on each card, and they give the perfect little snowy scene. Now this is a Stamp-A-Stack, so I'm making them as fast as I can.
I love the little bridge. It's probably like one of my favorites. So I want to keep that on there as much as possible every single time.
Now this is a Stamp-A-Stack, so we're just making 10 cards quick as we can, and they are just adorable. You can elevate them even further if you'd like. Like, how cute would it be to take a wink of Stella and color all of the places that are snow, and it would glisten a little bit? Or maybe you could add some snowflakes stamped on the card front as well. There is so much more that you can do, but this Stamp-A-Stack is fast and easy.
Kind of a house up on a hill there. Sure is cute.
So I asked earlier, do you stamp your Christmas cards, and how many do you make? Make sure you put that down in the comments below. I'm just curious. How many cards do you make? Do you mail them out? Do you hand deliver them as much as possible, or maybe even put them on a Christmas gift? I know the ones that have more dimension are the ones I tend to hand deliver or put in mailboxes at church and at school, as opposed to send them out and pay more postage.
See, everyone is different.
If I mail out the cards that have more dimension, then I usually have to put almost double the postage on them. So that's why I like to make those really dimensional cards, the ones that I put in the mailboxes at school, the ones that I put in the mailboxes at church, or I will put them directly on a gift. Another thing that I like to do is make sure that my card stands up nice on the mantle. Now I know some people will like tape their cards up or hang them in like a little clippy system or something like that. How do you display your Christmas cards? I tend to put them either in a place where all of my Christmas cards are together, like in a basket, or I have this long stocking that has several pockets on it. So I will put them in there, or I will set out a lot of the handmade cards on my shelves. So I have built-in bookshelves on each side of the fireplace, and I like to display cards there, especially if they're handmade. I tend to display them up on those shelves. But I like them to stand up and have a nice presence on the shelf.
I'm bringing in some baker's twine from the Essentials pack and just kind of making a little loop and putting that on the back. And then putting on some dimensionals.
So I mentioned earlier that I went to St. Louis this last weekend, and that's what I did with my teams that I'm part of for Stampin' Up, and it was awesome. We had Chad Williams, who was from the Stampin' Up corporate office. He is my upline's DDM, which is like a district manager or something, and he came and he spoke to us. He even had several of us for our own special dinner, and we had pizza and salads and all sorts of desserts and just a great time. And he kind of talked to us and got a lot of input from us and how we're doing with Stampin' Up, and it was really great to talk to him. And then we sat through several classes, some of them business related and growing your business, and a lot of creative classes. And then we even went through like Friday and Saturday, we went through like a rotation of tables and created some cards or scrapbook pages. I think we made like 13 projects while we were out there. Some of them were like 2-page scrapbook layouts or a 1-page scrapbook layout. One was a mini album, which was so over the top cool. I cannot wait to teach that class to some of my customers. And we made a bunch of cards, and some of them were fun folds and interactive. There was a shaker card, and we got to meet and talk to our friends. And so many of these ladies I had met online or I knew of them, but I got to actually meet them in person and hang out and talk to them and learn a little bit about them and their families. And then everything was decorated for this peace, love, and paper crafting theme. So it was all decorated like 1970s boho, and it was just so adorable. And some of it had a lot of like fall decorations interspersed with this 1970s themes. We had backdrops. There was a night that you could dress up in costume to go with a theme, and there was a little parade, and Sunny and Cher were there, aka Kelly and Chad, who were dressed up. It was just so much fun and so many picture opportunities, and they had little props for the pictures, for the photo area, and it was just a lot of fun. I actually put a link to Kelly's video that she put up this week, and I put it over on my Katie Stamps, KATISTAMPS. That's my business page on Facebook, and I put a link to the video up on that page, and it was so much fun, and it was reasonable. Like, the cost, I would have paid 4 times as much to go to this event. Like, don't tell them that, because I don't want them to jack the price up that much next year. But it was so worth the money. I think we paid like $25. And some of the products that we used in projects, we actually bought ourselves. So we got credit for the sales, we got a discount on them because we're all demonstrators, and then they brought the products for everything else. It was so worth the money. We stayed at a Drury Inn, and since we stayed there, we had breakfast included and a hot supper included that was like buffet style for both of those. And trust me, you could plenty get full on everything. And it was just like the perfect location. It was kind of a central location for everybody to fly into. It was not that far from the airport. I'd say about a 20-minute ride, but you could get Ubers or things like that and get there pretty quickly. And we just had a super time. I will go back next year 100%, and I'd love to take you with me.
And inside, we're going to stamp Merry Christmas and Happy Wishes. So we have garden green, for our little packages and envelopes, and Merry Christmas is in real red.
So I must confess, these are the first Christmas cards that I've made. Yes, I make over 200, and these are the first ones that I've made. So I have a lot of work to do. If I've done any other ones, it would have been part of a card kit, but I can't think of any off the top of my head. So I have a feeling that I'm going to be doing a lot of Stamp-A-Stacks this year because it is a super fast way. And, you know, I could go up almost any evening and stamp a stack of 10 cards and knock those out. And, you know, within 3 weeks, I'd have all my Christmas cards made if I would just be consistent every day and stamp a stack. So what are you going to do for Christmas cards this year? Do you do the same card for everybody, or do you do different cards? I kind of make several different designs. So like here, I made 10 of these, and then I have 10 more in the blue, so I will make those with different papers.
And don't forget to decorate your envelopes.
I might have a few people that have similar cards or similar card design like these 10, but I make a lot of different card designs. I will say that. And I go through my stash and find any cards that I still have left over from last year or ones that I've made in classes like this weekend.
And then one last step is some embellishments, an additional embellishment. And I'm going to come in with these real red peppermints. It is something that we've carried in the past, but we still have them available. I just think they look so cheerful and they just remind me of the holidays.
I hope you've enjoyed this quick Stamp-A-Stash and you check out the other girls in the Inspiration Collaboration Design Team.
If you have any snowflakes in your stash, those would be great to add onto this card as well. I think that would look really fun. I was trying to find something that is currently available, and I do love these on my Christmas cards. I really built up my stash last year when we carried these because they were like one of my favorites.
In total, it took me about 40 minutes to make these 10 cards, so that's pretty fast, 4 minutes a card, and I think they're pretty cute. What do you think? How long do you spend when you make a card? I think if I can make it in less than 5 minutes on average, that's pretty reasonable, even when I have a couple hundred cards to make.
And there you go. There's my Stamp-A-Stack cards and envelopes. I hope you've enjoyed this.